preceding Germanic tribes spoke similar languages, which in Britain developed into what we now call English. Old English did not sound or look like English today. Native English speakers now would have great difficulty understanding Old English. Nevertheless, about half of the most commonly used in modern English have Old English. The words be, strong, and water derive from Old English. The history of the English language really started with the arrival of three Germanic tribes who invaded Britain during the 5th century AD. These tribes are the Angles, Saxons, and Jutes. Crossed the North Sea from what today is Denmark and northern Germany. So I'll show you the pictured example of a old English manuscript or a text. So this is the Old English manuscripts or a text. Old English manuscripts offer a fascinating glimpse into Anglo-Saxon culture and language. From epic poem like Beowulf to historical record like Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, this text revealed the values, belief, and daily life of early medieval England. These texts are crucial for understanding the language of this early Anglo-Saxon, known as Old English, was a highly inflected language, meaning that words arranged their form depending on their grammatical function.
Beowulf is an Old English epic poem in a tradition of Germanic heroic legend, consisting 3,182 alliterative lines.
Now I show you the short story animations of Beowulf.
Kind of a dragon creature, but he likes to have his cup of tea and sit on his couch and watch the sun set.
He's really just this nice guy.
When these Vikings move in next door, his first thought is, I want to go meet these awesome neighbors. Like, I'm going to take them cookies.
It's all about kind of being that nice neighbor. Like, hey, everyone likes cookies. Who doesn't like cookies?
And then things go wrong when the Vikings see him and think, oh, he's a monster. It's a twist on the story of Beowulf.
The story of Beowulf is kind of an Old English tale. Beowulf is the hero, and he comes in and he ends up killing a monster named Grendel.
The Norman period started in 1066 after the Norman conquest of England culture. The Norman brought with them the French language and culture. The Old French dialect became the vernacular of the court. The church, the law, and the aristocracy. It was a period of many changes, including social, political, economic, and transformation. The Yamon's growth is known as the Chronicles that tells the history of Britain containing 6,000 alternative lines. The Romans are divided into three categories: the mother of Britain, the mother of Rome, and the mother of French. The mother of Britain includes the activities of the King Arthur, and the mother of Rome deals the Alexander the Great, and the mother of France with Charlemagne. The text is mostly non-alternative and poetry, composition, rhymes. Until the Norman conquest, there are hardly any love poetry in English because the subject matter of Anglo-Saxon was war and religion.
Middle English was the language spoken in England from about 1100 to 1500. And I have a clip for that, and this is it.
Numbers: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
What are borrowed words? Borrowed words are words adapted by the speakers of one language from a different language. and what is the meaning of source language, or what is mean by source language. A source language is a language from which a word is borrowed from. And also, I have a clip for that, and this is it.
During the Middle English period, many Old English grammatical features either became simplified or disappeared altogether. Like noun, adjective, and verb inflections were simplified by the reduction of most grammatical case distinctions. The shift in grammar brought Middle English closer to the structure of modern English as it moved away from the highly inflected system of Old English and its Germanic roots. The language became more analytic, relying more on words, order, and prepositions rather than inflections to show grammatical relationship. In vocabulary, the amesisms played a much larger role than in Old English. They came mainly from two sources: the Scandinavian due to Viking invasions and settlements, and French due to Roman conquest or of 1066. Many Old English affixes remained productive during this time and were used to modify both native English and newly borrowed French words. Example: common English suffixes like full, less, and ness were easily combined with French derived words.
Per early modern English. The early modern English language was less than 100 years old in 1950. When Shakespeare was writing, no dictionaries had yet been written and most documents were still written in Latin. He contributed 1,700 words to the English language because he was the first author to write them down. William Shakespeare, the renowned, wrote during the early modern English period a pivotal era in the development of the English language. The period spanning roughly from the late to the early 18th century saw significant changes in English grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation.
Shakespeare writing style. Shakespeare writing style is truly unique and captivating. He had a way with words and could transport you to another time and place. His plays and sonnets are filled with rich imagery, poetic language, and complex characters. In terms of his plays, Shakespeare often used a combination of prose and verse to convey different emotion and tones. This verse, known as iambic pentameter, consists of lines with 10 syllables, alternating between stressed and unstressed syllables.
Early modern English started during the Renaissance between 1500 and 1800 with the first edition of the King James Bible and the work of William Shakespeare. At this point, Elizabeth came to the throne of England with a religious revolt, positioning her nation of a Protestant. As a consequence, sale of the literature during her reign reflected the tension being the purpose of the most of the works depicted. During the Renaissance, it appeared the printing press and started the voyage of explanation, making the language at the time of the mixture of different language with borrowed words from the other idioms such as Latin, French, and German.